According to rumors, Miss Tamar Braxton also had a run-in with Diddy, and it was reportedly a really unpleasant one. However, Tamar has never been the kind to hold back, especially when she senses something is off. You can be sure that she would speak out about something like that. However, what actually transpired between her and Diddy? Because according to insiders, it has something to do with her and what Cassie said.
God really saved me from myself, because I was with the wrong person. And when I was with the wrong person, it made me feel bad about who I was. And that's why I said I would tell myself I would date so many people at this moment, because
everybody but him.
Everybody made me feel, he made me feel so bad about having dreams, having goals. Ooh. And my dreams and goals was not the same as his. And because of that, he used to beat me down, mentally and physically.
We'll talk about that soon. But first, let's see what's actually going on with Diddy's trial. There have been a lot of intriguing developments, my darling. Many were surprised when the prosecution dropped some of the charges against Diddy, including the alleged kidnapping of Capricorn Clark, who claimed Diddy's then security chief took her to a dilapidated building where she was put through 5 days of consecutive lie detector tests. Capricorn Clark warned the judge that if she didn't comply, she would be thrown into the East River. Diddy's attorneys contended that there was no evidence that Diddy was aware of what was happening, much less that he planned a kidnapping. Kid Cudi, who claimed that his Porsche was firebombed in 2012. Soon after Diddy allegedly discovered that he had dated Cassie Ventura, was the subject of the other complaint that was withdrawn. Diddy's attorneys once more denied any involvement, pointing out that Cudi was not present when the attack occurred and that the bottle used to make the Molotov cocktail that set the car on fire had female DNA. Prosecutors also dismissed other allegations related to the alleged mistreatment of women and their transportation for you know what. Keep in mind that only some charges, more especially the assisting and abetting charges, are being dropped by the prosecution. But, everyone, don't get it wrong. Even if some people already believe that this case may be coming to an end, Diddy is still not in the clear only because the prosecution dropped some counts. It can just indicate that they are concentrating more on the arguments they can substantiate. However, the defense chose not to call any witnesses to the stand. And Diddy's lawyers rested their case in less than 30 minutes. Diddy reminded the judge that it was his personal choice not to testify, and even he refrained from doing so. Diddy's attorneys never gave a reason for not calling any witnesses. It could be that they believe the prosecution hasn't met that standard, that they don't want to call a witness who would influence the jury against their client, or that no one was prepared to defend Diddy. To be honest, I have no idea. However, I can assure you that, in spite of this startling action, people are still discussing this issue and keeping an eye on it because it extends beyond the courts. The name of Tamar Braxton has suddenly appeared in the conversation. Furthermore, her purported remarks regarding her personal experience with Diddy are stoking the flames. We are aware that Tamar is a lady who has endured a lot, including toxic relationships, public humiliation, mental health issues, and even battling for recognition in a field that attempted to silence her. Is she talking about her alleged incident because she has experienced being gaslighted, threatened, and driven to the brink, and she is tired of keeping quiet for anyone else? To be honest, it makes you wonder if Tamar is taking over because she is fed up with the cycle, or is there more to the soon-to-be-released story? Since Tamar Braxton has been through her own storm, it's easy to understand why the revelations about Cassie and her alleged experiences with Diddy seem to have touched a raw nerve with her. Tamar Braxton has talked about being in a turbulent relationship. In fact, she talked about it on The Real. She claimed that she persisted in the relationship because she was unsure of her identity at the time. She also talked about how she felt horrible about herself because her ex-boyfriends didn't encourage her to pursue her goals, in addition to attributing her salvation to God. Tamar stressed the significance of self-discovery and self-worth in order to escape such circumstances.
You know, I mean, it was just a really hard time for me. And the only reason why he got away with it then is because I did not know who I was. And I could not make the right decisions for myself because I didn't know where to go. Yes, I did. I did have a real strong family background. But at that time, if you don't know who you are, you don't know where to go. So that's why I like to encourage all young ladies. I say it during my shows. I'm going to say it here. Get to know you.
Recall how Tamar Braxton's ex-boyfriend Vince Herbert was said to have bitten her hand during a hotel altercation in 2016. Vince and Tamar both refuted these rumors at the time. However, I am also aware that Toni Braxton allegedly contacted the police after observing what she believed to be an altercation between Vince and Tamar, although Tamar hasn't always specifically mentioned specific instances with Vince like her mother did. She has later admitted in interviews that she was in a terrible relationship, despite her initial defense of her marriage. In fact, Tamar's mother, Evelyn Braxton, made it known in 2017 that she was fed up with Vince taking advantage of Tamar. She even asserted that their private relationship had been going on for years, and she urged Vince to refrain from touching her child out of genuine fear that he would harm her. In fact, Evelyn Braxton revealed the startling reality of what was actually happening behind the scenes in an interview conducted just 1 month after Tamar filed for divorce and after their divorce was finalized in 2019. She stated, "Everyone saw Vince as a knight in shining armor, but behind closed doors, that's a horse of another color." Tamar Braxton has since been extremely forthright about the negative impact these traumatic events have had on her mental health, especially those that have to do with her relationships and the demands of reality TV. She has publicly discussed her battles with extreme anxiety and despair. She has also disclosed that, as a result of remarks made by a record executive when she was a child, she has experienced body dysmorphia, in addition to stressing the value of therapy and aggressively pursuing her recovery. Tamar has declared her complete commitment to improving herself and setting a good example for her kid. So, yes, I completely understand how Tamar would have been agitated by Cassie's remarks. However, it seems that it was more than simply Cassie's experience. According to accounts, Tamar is experiencing a wide range of emotions throughout the trial. You see, in addition to Cassie's own startling admissions, prosecutors also invited Diddy's former personal assistants to testify, and they didn't mince words. Being Diddy's PA, according to one of them, required ignoring unsettling things while still overseeing every aspect of his life, the jury was told. This included having applesauce, Jell-O, and Fiji water in his hotel suite and ensuring that all of his toiletries faced the same direction. Even on the good days, the workweek may go up to 100 hours, the hours were long, and the pay was low. On the worst days, however, they were said to have been pulled into a world of lawlessness and mayhem. David James, a former PA, described driving Diddy to what almost turned into a gunfight with his rival, record executive, Suge Knight. James claimed that while driving his boss's car in the parking lot of an all-night cafe in Los Angeles, he became aware that he might not survive that night. Another aide recalled the incident in 2015 when he heard Cassie Ventura, Diddy's long-term girlfriend, yelling in the bedroom of Diddy's private jet, with the sound of glass breaking in the background. After that, a second former personal aide of Diddy joined the witness stand. She claimed to have worked for Diddy from 2009 to 2017 while testifying under the alias Mia. She disclosed that she was responsible for monitoring Cassie during her stay there, which coincided with her time with Diddy. Mia claims that Diddy strictly regulated Cassie's appearance, whereabouts, and musical career. She claimed that although she and Cassie gradually became closer to one another, the consequences may be frightening and unpredictable if they did anything without Diddy's consent. In essence, Tamar appears to have been highly agitated by all of these accusations. And as you may remember, Tamar was among the few individuals who defended Young Miami when Diddy revealed that he had a child with a different lady, even though he was then openly dating Young Miami. "Before you all started commenting there was a shortage of billionaires," Tamar said in a post. Alright, since Tamar has experienced the most herself, she was essentially supporting Young Miami in that embarrassing and very publicized scenario involving Diddy. In addition to all of that, rumors are circulating that Tamar might be about to divulge information regarding a Diddy encounter that we were unaware of. And let's face it, if Tamar chooses to speak her truth, it might blow the lid off this whole issue, especially considering everything she has endured and how she has now found her voice after years of silence. Tamar's voice would undoubtedly sound different, particularly at this time when Diddy is under more criticism than before. Naturally, I'll keep an ear out for additional information. However, while we wait, share in the comments section below what shocking revelation you believe Tamar will make.